Okay, so today we're going to do sampling and data collection. Now, what is sampling? The first thing you have to know. Sampling is basically a shorter way to know something about a population because the entire population because the entire population is too big. For example, let's say I ask 10,000 people from a country if they like ice cream, and 3 by 4 of the people say yes. Now I can assume that 3 by 4 of the entire country, because this was a small population of 10,000. Entire country could be millions of people. Okay, so now I can assume that 3 by 4 of the entire country likes ice cream. But there are also some conditions to this. For example, some conditions have to be met to find the right sample. Let me write them here. First one, it should be a random sample meaning everyone from the country has an equal chance of being in it. Has an equal chance of being in it. Okay, that's the first thing. Secondly, it should be big enough to represent the entire country. Represent the entire country. Okay, let me fix this. Okay, so you cannot take, let's say, 10 people from entire country and say, okay, now this is the representation of the entire country. No, because that's too little. You have to take, let's say 10,000, 100,000, because in a country you have millions of people. Okay, so that's why you have to take the ratio according to that. Now one question may arise, that how do I find a random sample? Okay, what makes it random? We're going to discuss that. Now, for random sample, you have to know two, or so let's say three things. First, assign a number to every person. To every person in the population, okay? Secondly, create a list of random numbers and match them with the people from the population. People from the population, okay? So that's why every person will have an equal chance and not just one person can get an, let's say, advantage to do this. And thirdly, you can use a calculator, or it's not a calculator, you can use a computer, let's say, or let's say just a just a normal person, to take out and match the random numbers. Now, one thing to make sure here, yes, make sure that the sample, the random sample, is not biased. Okay, meaning a certain group is excluded, or the sample was taken at a certain place or certain time. Okay, these are all the things that will make a random sample not random, because if you exclude a people, for example, let's see if I take an example here. You ask 10, let's say, sports lovers, or let's say not sport lovers, let's say, one second. Yes. For example, you ask 10 people wearing a football jersey if they like sports. Okay, now this will give you, like, all of them will say yes because they already have football jersey. So you cannot, let's say, include a certain people and exclude a certain people. Okay, now we have to know some things over here, that we have two types of data. Quantitative data and qualitative data. I'm going to explain what those are. One second. Okay. Now, quantitative data is when you have data in numbers. Okay, for example, heights of people. Okay, now we also have two types. There's one more thing. We have two types of quantitative data. Which are discrete data in whole numbers. Basically, that's the main thing. Data in whole numbers. Okay, and secondly, we have, you could say, continuous. Yeah. Data in numbers that can be any value in a given range. And the second type of data that we have is qualitative data. Qualitative data is data in words. Okay, for example, vanilla, chocolate are ice cream flavors and are qualitative data. Okay, so we have two types. One is the quantitative data, where we have two types, that is discrete, where data can be in whole numbers, and continuous, where data can be even in decimal points. Okay, qualitative data is data in words. For example, vanilla, chocolate, and ice cream. Or you could have, let's say you have a pet's name. Okay, you have people's names, you have teams' names. Okay, these are different things that you can apply in qualitative data. Okay, now there's also one thing we have to discuss, that data can also be classified. Okay, for example, let's say I want to find out which age groups attended my conference. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a chart like this. First, now age can vary. I can't write all the ages like 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, 20, 30, 40. I can't write all of them. What I can do is I can make a chart and say 0 to 19 age people and frequency. Frequency basically means the amount of people that there were. So 0 to 19 age, let's say 5 people were there. So we write frequency as 5. And then I have, let's say, no, not this. Let's say if I first erase this. Okay, let's say if I have from 20, okay, let me make it over here, 1 second. So next one we can say it is 20 to 40, okay. That will give me, let's say, 13 people. Then we can make from, let's say, 41 to 60, and we could have 15 people. Now one thing, I did make a mistake over here, that, let's raise this, yes, 39. Now, one thing to keep in mind over here, one second, I'll erase this from here. Yep. Okay, now when you have the age, you always have to have the same age gap. Okay, always have same age gap. For example, you can't have, let's say, 19 to let's say 39. That's a 20 age gap. And then let's say I have 40 to let's say 50. I can't have that because that's not the proper way. We have to have the same age gap. That's the first thing. Second thing is that never repeat a number. Never repeat a number in the classes. Okay, for example, if 0 to 19, you cannot write 19 to 39. You're going to write the next number, that's 20 to 39. And you're not going to write 39 to 60. You're going to write 41 to 60. Okay? And same thing, I missed one thing here. This would be 40 to 59. 40 to 59. You will have the same number. Like you're going to take the next number. You're not going to skip a number over here. You're not going to say, okay, I have 39. I'm not going to take 40. No. You're going to take the 40 as well. I just made a mistake over here. Okay? One more thing we have to know over here is that you can also use sampling to estimate, because it's not going to give the exact answer, to estimate the size of a country or a population. Size of a population. Let me fix this. Okay, now let's say, for example, if I have a question here, a fisherman caught 50 fish and tagged them all. And tagged them with a, let's say, yellow tag, with a the next day he caught 40 and 10 of them were tagged now. And 10 of them now question is, right over here, find the total fish in the lake. Okay, now in a question like this, what you want to know is, look, we're going to compare. First you found 50. First, let's say we take the second one. That 50 fish, okay, he caught out of the entire, you could say, lake. Okay, now he tagged them. That means 50 fish are tagged out of the entire lake. Let's call it N, for example. Okay, now the next day he caught 40 and 10 of them were tagged. So in this case, 50 were tagged out of the entire lake's fish. Now 10 are tagged out of the entire fish that he caught. Okay, now we have a ratio over here. Now we can multiply them, meaning we make a cross over here. 50 times 40, that will give you 2000 equals to, that will give you 2000 equal to 10n, and n will be equal to 2000 divided by 10. 0 and 0 cancel. So you have 200 fish in the entire lake. Okay, that's it for this one.